everybody, and welcome to Bugbear's Basement. I am Chester C. Busby III, and I am very, very happy to have you here today. Of course, you guys know that we use Bugbear's Basement to do odd, nerdy things, which we enjoy doing. We've done anything from comic book reviews to board games to what have you. But of course, today we are doing role-playing games, and we are doing Vampire the Masquerade. This is episode 2 of our Boston by Night campaign, which of course is Gehenna Falling. Welcome, welcome. We're very happy to have you guys in here. Do keep in mind all of our links we have down below. We do have issue number 1 to White Lily, and that's a free comic coming out from Preston Poulter. You guys go check that out. If you like what he's doing there, go over to Kickstarter and back him. But it's always nice when these creators give us a free digital version of one of their comics so you guys can check it out. We have many other links there too. We appreciate you guys checking them out. Not least to mention that Dinale does have his immortal mask moving along. If you want to be part of that mailing list, please definitely click that link and be part of it. Also, if you want to be on this show, one of the many shows we do, or you want to be on the fan edition as an artist, just contact me on Twitter. You see the link down there, and I will put you through the process of getting you on here, man. But other than that, we appreciate you guys checking out our FanSpeak page over on Facebook, which is growing and doing really, really well. And we'd also appreciate if you guys would hit that share button and let everybody know what's going on. We are streamers, so we definitely. We definitely want to have people in here with us live. Although we do understand this is niche, but nevertheless, before I do my catch up to what happened last episode and stuff, let's come over here and say hello to our panel. So let's start with Comic Book Bob. How you doing, Comic Book?
Good today, man. How you doing?
I'm awesome, dude. It's very early in the morning for me, but it's a nice sunny day anyway. Although it's hot.
Cool deal, man.
Yeah.
I promise not to dip out this time.
Oh no, I hope everything's well. Is your family fine?
Oh yeah, they're great. Like I said, it ended up just being a false alarm, but we're good.
Yeah, no, it's family first, dude. Obviously, but glad to have you back though. And of course, we're also joined by Dodge. How you doing, Dodge?
Oh, pretty good, man. Hit 1,500 subscribers this last week.
Sweet.
Jumping leaps and bounds, man. Life is good so far.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I've been watching YouTube for a long time myself. We all have, but I never really thought I'd be doing a YouTube channel, and here I am. So awesome. And of course, guys, we're also joined by Mox. How you doing, Mox?
Pretty good. How are you doing today, Chester?
I am great, dude. I'm looking forward to what we're going. Well, I'm looking forward to see what you guys do. Actually, that's always the interesting thing from the DN's point of view, or in this case, the storyteller's point of view, to see what you guys are doing. So it should be exciting, I think. And of course, our last panelist, but also our last player, is Dinale. How you doing, Dinale?
I'm doing awesome here. It's Florida, so I'm always complaining about the hot, humid weather, but it wouldn't be Florida without it.
It's true. That is true. It's just as a little side note before we jump in. I actually was watching. I haven't finished it completely, but I watched more episodes of the Doom Patrol last night. And you guys check that out yet?
No.
Oh yeah, dude, I love it.
Yeah. It's I'm not gonna give any spoilers away or anything like that, but I like it too. It's kind of like it has a feels a lot like Legion. If you guys have seen that TV show, it's got that kind of
Mhm.
feel. It's not made for little teeny boppers like the CW stuff is, or Titans, which was horrible. But it's not made for them. It's made for more of a, I'd say, 30s to 50s age people, which is good.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure 100% what I think about all the characters. I think Brendan Fraser is doing a wonderful job.
Oh God,
Of
yeah.
course, yeah, and of course the guy who's playing, and of course for those of us who know Doom Patrol, we know not to be any disrespect for Stan Lee, all praise and bow to Stan Lee, but he did rip the X-Men straight up out of the Doom Patrol. I mean he
Oh
did.
yeah.
But the dude playing Xavier basically is doing wonderful. I like the
Timothy
dude.
Dalton. Yep.
the dude playing Negative Man. I like the lady who's playing the stretchy lady, the fantastic Mr. Fantastic type character. I think they're all wonderful. They're doing wonderful, wonderful jobs. I love the guy playing Mr. Nobody. He's killing it.
Yeah,
But and
Alan
I
Tudyk. Yep.
yeah, I always liked that guy anyway. But the real the real iffy point for me is the K or Jane and Cyborg. Those are the two that
Yeah.
have me that kind of iffy.
I I think what happened with that show is that they basically went to them and said, "Look, you've got high quality, you've got the high budget, great characters, good story. You can have two of those three. So pick one. So pick them." So, and I think what they did is like, okay, we'll take good characters, a good story, and the effects are a little iffy.
Yeah, I don't
But
mind that though, and I
I
think they
don't
do.
either, man. I think that's the best combination they could have
Yeah,
picked. It's
yeah,
it's quirky, it's fun, and that's the most important thing is that it's fun.
it is
But I do
fun.
agree with you with the Crazy Jane stuff. I think is a little over the top,
You know
and
what? You know the main thing I would say about her. I think they've put too much weight and responsibility on the girl. I think that's the problem.
yeah,
I just don't think she is old enough or skilled enough to handle what they need her to do. Sometimes she does great, sometimes it's not. I just think they put too much responsibility on the girl.
yeah.
Really,
Well, she's got to play so many different
she
characters, man. I
does.
mean, if you look
Yeah,
at like a show like what was it, Orphan Black, where you've got someone like Tatiana Maslany, who's a
yeah,
really really good actress, and she was doing like 7 or 8 different people. She's just got to do like 30 of them.
yeah. It's actually I will never see all 64 of them, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, you're right. And it's I actually kind of wondering why they didn't take the orphan black girl because I think she would have done a really good job.
Oh,
But
she would have been fantastic.
Yeah, but I'm not
She,
being negative against her. I just think that it's a lot for her. And the cyborg thing,
yeah,
I get it because they're all supposed to be broken. I get that, and I think he does a good
yeah,
job on that. But he's just too damn small, and he's too damn he's
yeah.
just
They needed
angsty,
they
man.
needed they needed someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need someone yoked for friggin' Vic Stone, man, because he's supposed to be a big freaking dude.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a big old quarterback type guy.
I don't know why they
And
didn't just go
All
get the
right.
guy that played him in the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, just warming up a little, Denali. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. So here, let's go ahead and jump into it here because Denali's starting to get angsty. So let's not upset the Denali. All right. So let me go ahead and do a recap. Now, I appreciate you guys coming in here. We are going to jump in. Now, Denali is going to take responsibility for looking on the chat and keeping an eye on the chat. Unfortunately, I'm going to be almost completely in the back end when we do this, so I won't be able to see the chat very much. So Denali's going to take responsibility for that, okay? But if you guys want to have something to say or you want to, directly to us, please do. We'd love to interact with you. But we're going to go. And here we go. All right. Now, last week, we started our campaign here in Boston by Night. Now, this is Vampire the Masquerade, for those of you who aren't aware. And Vampire is based on the World of Darkness or the White Wolf system. And it's a wonderfully cool system. It's very different than, say, D&D, which is the standard thing that most people know about. But the mechanics here are a little bit different, but I like them, actually. I love the mechanics in this game. But basically, we're playing in Boston by Night. Now, Boston is a little bit different than probably you would know if you're actually ever played Vampire. I've made my own world here. But using kind of the framework of the vampire or the World of Darkness cosmology. But here in Boston, it's a bit different than the other cities because most cities around the world, especially the big ones, are ruled by a prince, a vampire prince, and they will interact with other members of the supernatural community based upon what the prince is, really. But Boston doesn't have a prince. The Boston is run by the mages. And the reason for that is because Boston is one of the major loci on the planet, which is why there's always been a lot of magic and witches and all that kind of stuff around the history of Boston. I know a lot of people, particularly Americans, would know the stories of the Salem witch trials, but actually, of course, I went to university in Boston. I live in New England anyway. Boston has a lot more stories about witches and magic than just the Salem witch trials. But here in Boston, the mages or the magi control this city completely, and the vampires who live in it are basically stuck in one little area, which is called Roxbury. And our team here lives in this particular haven, and this haven has our four members of our team that we're watching here. It also has a guy named Benny. And Delilah is also, but Benny's been here longer than even Dinale's character. But Delilah has been here only about a month. But other than those four guys, we only have these two here. But the important thing about this particular haven, out of the four haven that are in Roxbury, is that this has Benny's Place. Now, Benny's Place is it's a tavern, basically a type of tavern bar where all the vampires in the city hang out. And but to be fair, the vampires in the city are kind of they're kind of losers, really. They're not high end, high impact vampires at all, and of course that makes sense when you think about the vampires that are, I mean, the mages that are in charge. They won't stand for any kind of vampire getting out of line, and as long as the vampires stay in Roxbury and do their hunting in Roxbury, they're fine to interact with them in that way. Now, our story has geared up because we went through how all of our team members here got into being in Boston. Some of them were born here, some of them have been come in more recently. But what's happening is our team had heard that there was some issues going on in Boston. Basically, you had a prince who had been in for the past 2 weeks and had been pushing really hard against the mages. Now, these guys know, and particularly Dinale had lived through it. The last time that the vampires tried really hard to push into Boston and take Boston away from the Magi, and they all thought that that was what was going on, and they were, kind of deciding whether they should get involved or not. But they did get pulled in to go and check out what was going on, and they fell into the middle of a very serious situation. There was a magical storm that was striking Boston and doing quite a bit of damage, actually, all over the news. And in essence, they were breaking the masquerade, which is usually something you don't do. But they saw a standoff between this prince who had come in, and this prince's name here. This
Quentin.
prince's name is Lucius Cincinnatus. He's for anybody who studies history, he's one of the most famous generals in Roman history, actually. And the Magus here is a very old and powerful wizard. And they were having a standoff, and then one of our team members here. Actually, here, Sienna Barato, Mox's character, who had been created under very odd circumstances, all of a sudden started floating in the middle of the air with a glowing rune on her stomach, screaming, and then she went quiet, and the voice of a disembodied voice of the god Baal, or the antediluvian Baal, started speaking and telling them that Gehenna was upon them, and he was going to be enjoying eating their flesh, and they were so lucky. And they should be proud that their bodies and minds will be destroyed by him, and how wonderful for them. Yeah, twisted. And that's where it left us. Sienna fell to the ground. The guys were all around. This is their team member, of course, trying to protect her. The Magus stopped what they were doing, and the prince is run over at an incredible speed and is now standing over the group, looking down at Sienna. Now, before I jump into and giving the continued what's going on, does anybody want to say or do anything before I continue? That's the situation. You guys are all sitting where you are. Of course, Bob's character, which is Zero Plague, you see sitting here on the screen, he's back at the Haven. He wasn't with them. But you do have Sienna, who is unconscious, so Mox can't do anything anyway, although he can ask a question if he'd like. But Al and Damien are upright. And they can say or do something if they'd like. And we also have standing below them in the fountain entrance that they come from the underway is Rhaegar. So, Mox or Denali, would you guys like to say or do anything?
I'm good.
Denali?
Um,
Go ahead.
okay, so I'm holding Sienna, right?
You are. Yes. And you're actually
All right.
you half your
So
body. You're
I
I mean, from probably your around knee depth, you're standing on the actual stairwell, holding her. Yeah, so you're actually kind of half in the fountain and half out of the fountain as far as the stairwell is concerned, right?
where is Al from me? Can I throw Sienna towards Al and deal with this vampire staring down my throat?
Well, Al is standing right next to you. You guys are just come out of the fountain. You were keeping tight to the fountain for cover, and you were watching what was transpiring. So he's literally right next to him. I'm sure you could just reach out and touch him.
All right. I hand Sinali over to Al. Um I'm guessing that you grab her, right? I
Right.
would suggest that you head down the well. You head out, and I turn and face the vampire.
Okay. Um, and Mox can't do anything. What are you doing, Al Dinale? What are you doing?
I, s- I see that the prince moved from one side to the other in a blink of an eye. So,
Mhm.
and now that I don't have celerity to move fast, and now I have a body, it's going to be kind of pointless. So
Yeah, but
I
you
don't drop.
certainly had enough time for him to hand you the body and stuff before the prince. But
Right.
the prince is moving.
Right.
You can see because you have a very high occult. You understand
Mhm.
that prince is moving at an extended celerity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no point of us running. He's going to catch us. Um. So I do hold Mox's character Sienna when it's passed over. She's passed over to me. Um, but I look at the prince and I kind of do like a semi bow because I'm now holding up
Okay,
another vampire,
that's fine.
and that's about it, just to
Awesome.
show respects because I
Well,
now I'm in survivor mode.
All right.
I don't. I stare him dead in the eye, and I
Okay.
wait for what he does.
All right. So Damien is standing between the prince and Al, who is holding Sienna. All right, no problem. Do you say anything to the prince, or are you just standing your ground?
I'm just standing there staring him straight in the eyes.
Okay. Um, he's standing right in front of you, of course, like we had left it last week, and he's looking past you, Damien. His focus is 100% on Sienna, and as he says, of course, everyone is standing back up because when Sienna had floated into the air and she was being used as a kind of like an oracle body for Baal, for Baal. When it was done, the spell dissipated and it sent out this shockwave, which knocked everybody except for the prince and the magus down. So everyone's kind of getting back up. The magus has stopped his storm. It's as if it wasn't even raining, although the ground is wet, of course, flooded actually. And As he's sitting there, actually the magus moves over next to him, similar speed, but not as fast. And Without taking his eyes off of Sienna, he says, "Are we going to continue with this farce?" The magus says, "I suppose not." He says, "Good." The Magus calls out, and he's not paying any attention to you guys either. He calls out to his men, "Go and deal with the paradox. Go, go, go." Now you see that his daughter, Lara, who you guys know a little bit, I'd say Denali probably out of this group, Denali knows her the best, and she's friendly enough, right? You don't know too in depth of stuff about her. She's kind of the representative for the Magi to the vampire community, right? She's your liaison in a way, direct liaison. But she's been nothing but friendly to you guys. She hasn't been mean or rude. She's not like that. Some of the mages you interact with kind of look at you with disdain, but she's never done that. But Your relationship is acquaintance at best. Nevertheless, she walks up behind her father as well, and you hear the prince starts barking out orders in what sounds like some kind of Latin, and the vampires start moving and dispersing and stuff. And by the way, guys, as we're going along, if you want to interject, say anything, or do anything, you just tell me, okay? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rattling until I get to the end of what I got to do. So You see all the vampires are dispersing to the point that you only have the Magus, the prince, and Lara are still here. The prince speaks up and he says, Nosferatu, present yourself to me. And you guys can only assume he means Rhaegar.
Um, I glance towards the well, obviously. Because I do understand that that's who he's talking to. Does Radgar come out?
Rhaegar, well, the prince says once more, he says, do not ask, let me, make me ask again. And with that, you see very sheepishly, poking his head over the granite sliding door that is this secret entrance to the underway below. Rhaegar pokes his head up and says, Your Majesty? And in a very, very sheepish way. And he says, Nosferatu, tell your lord to meet me at the Chantry House. He looks over at the Magus and he says, I'm assuming this is appropriate. The Magus just nods his head. He seems kind of defeated, but obviously on board from what he's just seen. So he says to tell his elder to meet him at the Chantry House, which is where the mage's lair, basically, is what that is. Rhaegar's like, right away, sir, and he disappears underneath the sliding concrete door, or excuse me, a granite door that's here.
Wait, do we still have our safe passage, or did he go?
He's gone, dude. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he's going. He's not moving with any particular celerity, but he is doing what he was told without question.
I head towards the entrance to the fountain. Do I get stopped?
No. And you're heading over. The prince. You see, the Magus is talking to Laura, it kind of in whispers, but they're speaking a language you guys don't know. And the prince, he snaps his fingers, and you guys see two Justicar appear behind him. That you don't know if had just moved there so quickly you couldn't see it, or they were standing there unseen. You don't know, but they do appear. And these are, two of the 6 Justicar. These are a big deal, right? And he says, collect her. We're going to take her to the Chantry House.
You are not.
The Justicar key, no one responds to you. The Justicar just moves over to start to take her away from Al.
I step in between Al and them.
Okay.
They're not taking my friend.
All right. Then give me a 10-sided roll, please.
What am I rolling here?
You're rolling your dexterity.
All right. Just a second. So I got 2 decks, so I'm throwing.
Yeah, roll 2 dice. Yeah.
I got a 7 and a 0.
Okay. So it's a 7 and a 10. A 7 and a 10. So 2 successes, not bad. So let me see here. Hold on a second. Okay. You do really well for yourself, actually. But this Justicar is just much faster than you are. And basically, he just kind of puts his hand on you and throws you aside. So give me a strength roll.
All right, on it. I got a strength of 2, I believe. So clear. 1, 2. I got a 10 and a botch. I hit a 1.
Oh, that's unfortunate. All right, so
Yeah.
but it's a 0. That actually works out to be a nothing, because the success and the botch cancel each other out. So he basically just throws you aside, and you literally go flying through the air, and you travel about, I don't know, 30 meters. You hit pretty hard, and you roll into a fence, but you are a vampire. It's not like you're a fragile little human. So you're not particularly damaged. He wasn't trying to damage you. He was just getting you out of his way. But you are 30 meters away from this situation. The Justicar is standing in front of you, Al, and he puts his arms out.
I guess he's gesturing for me to hand over.
Yes, he is. He doesn't say a word to you, though.
All right.
He just puts his
Um,
arms out as if for you to put the Sienna in his arms.
I use celerity and I move back into the point of conflict.
Okay. What are you going to do, Al?
I'm gonna be trying to wake her, um, and see if she will be coherent.
Okay. The Jester just comes over and forcibly takes her from her. Are you going to engage him in combat?
Combat isn't my thing,
All right. So
so
he forcibly takes her. You spend your point of celerity. You're now
mhm.
standing right in the middle of the situation again. Let's see. This is
Yeah,
Damien, right? Yeah.
I say hand my friend back to me now.
All right. Once again, no one is paying attention to you guys whatsoever. That Justicar certainly doesn't, and he just starts to take off. Now you can tell, even though this is happening super quickly, but because you have celerity, he's engaging his celerity.
Am I any closer to waking up at this point?
Not even a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
I do
And
apologize.
Al, you're not going to back me up if I make a move, right?
I'm not the fighting type. I'm I'm more of a knowledge.
I get down the stairwell because there's nothing more I could do. I don't have any backup. I can't take all 5 of these on.
Right,
You can't even take Laura on, dude.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that's
I head
that's
down the
just the
stairwell.
situation. We're just in a story building situation, not really in a combat situation. But I mean, of course, you can do what you like.
Right. So,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, I stand
I'm
defeated and I head down
yeah,
the well.
yep, I'm going down as well.
Okay.
If nobody stops us.
No one seems to care about you whatsoever. You do notice, though, no need for a dice roll for this, Al, but as you're heading back to the fountain entrance, you do notice that as they are leaving, the prince, the magus, and Laura are walking away, and you see a wind whip up, and it throws some dust into the air. And just before they disappear in that dust, you do notice that Laura looks back over at you guys, but they're gone from this park, and you guys are left alone, standing at the top of the stairwell. Now, what is it you want to do? Do you want to go back into the underway, or do you want to stay up on the street? Because you're only a few blocks away from your home. You're about what, 5 blocks away? 6 maybe.
Isn't this the park with the werewolves at it though? Aren't
No, no,
they
no,
in the
no. The
outskirts?
werewolves are nowhere near us, and they're not
Right.
involved in this part of the story yet. Yeah.
Okay, well, then I say we stay and turn around and head back towards home.
Yeah, that I expected that. But do you guys want
Yeah.
to go back the normal way, or do you want to walk through the underway?
I want to check to see if Ragnar is close enough that we can follow him, or if he's too far gone.
You don't see him anywhere. You do see a couple
Okay.
of the Nosferatu who are eyeing you very seriously.
Right.
Then we turn around. At
Yeah.
least I do. I turn around and I head up top and walk home.
Okay.
Yep.
So you guys get back. You're over there, and the night passes. Now, before we come to the next dusk, which is when you guys wake, because during the day you have to sleep. Well, except for Sienna is a little bit different, but uh, you have about, I'd say you have about, hold on a
Can I-
second, you have about 8 hours of night left. Do you want to do anything with that time, or we just want to move forward to the next night?
I want to use my her resource and go and feed.
Okay, that's fine. How about you, Al? Al?
Sorry. What was that? Sorry. What was
You
that?
have about 8 hours of night that you can spend doing something if you want, or we can just pass to the next day.
I'm researching.
Okay, what are you
Uh,
researching?
I'm researching the signs of Gehenna.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, the signs of Gehenna are very, the most of the evidence you would find would be things that are very biblical in nature. Of course, Gehenna being a Jewish thing, right? But as far as vampire point of view, you guys do know that it's this prophesied time when the antediluvians awake and they come and cause havoc and destruction upon the world. That's what you know of Gehenna. As far as signs of it, there are the signs of the announcement of returns, strange amounts of creatures that usually are within the Umbra. Now, do understand for everybody listening, if you don't know what the Umbra is. In this game, we have a veil, which most all games have. The veil is what separates our reality from the next reality, the one next to us, which would be, you could call it limbo, you could call it the space between, or what have you. In this game, it's called the Umbra. We also have the deep Umbra because the near Umbra basically looks just like our world. It's just a dimensional, like, half step, and it looks just like our world. It's just the colors are kind of washed out a little bit. It's a little more depressed, and you see a bunch of wraiths will live in there, which are kind of this world's ghosts, and they have their own communities and stuff. And some of the cities might actually be smaller or bigger in the near Umbra than they are in the real world. But the deeper you walk away from the near Umbra, and if you understand what I mean, that you're walking deeper dimensionally. But once you're in the Umbra, you can literally just walk. So if you can find a way to step into the Umbra, you can just keep walking in the Umbra and get anywhere you want. You don't need any further type of magic to transverse another plane. Right, but we do have something would be called the deep Umbra, and the deep Umbra is where the gods live. So, but
Well,
so you know that a lot of those kind of umbric creatures that normally aren't seen as much start to be seen more and more and more. And this is not something that you have necessarily noticed, but you are not a specialist in the Umbra in particular, right?
Right.
yeah, well, and as I go feed, and then
Hmm.
I head back. I grab my cell phone and I give a call to New Orleans.
Okay. Well,
And
let's
I
do that.
talk to one
Let's
of
do
my
that one step at a time. Let's do that one step at a time. First thing, tell us. You have a herd. What's your herd number?
two.
Okay, so you have what, three or five?
Yeah, and they're junkies. They're people I sell my drugs to.
I see. Okay, okay.
Directly.
So
Yeah.
they're not near the lair. They're just somewhere out in the world. Okay, so you go in to do that. Al does come back to the house before you then. Now, Bob or Zero Plague, you heard the commotion. Of course, you heard of all the storm that was going on. The news is going crazy about supernatural stuff. You're like, oh my, well, what the hell's going on? You see that, but you've seen a couple other things, Zero Plague, that you have information that these guys don't, because you are plugged into the internet, right, Bob? Can you hear me, Bob?
He's probably talking, but he forgot he's himself is muted.
Yeah, unmute yourself, dude. Yeah, no, I still see his icon there, Bob. You got something from me, Bob? Can't hear you, dude. All right. So anyway, I'll come back to Bob whenever he gets his mic working again. But all right. So you go and feed in your normal place, and then you're making a phone call to New Orleans. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling up a Brewhaw friend of mine, and I straight up tell him what I saw, and I ask if there's anything going on in that area of the country.
Now
What's going on?
he says, "No, really." He says, I haven't heard anything like that." Wow, that sounds crazy, man. There's a frickin' prince running around your area in Boston. Wow, something's going on, huh? He hasn't heard anything.
I
He has
ask
no
him if
information.
he I ask him if he can come north.
What would you need him for?
Some extra muscle. I just got stared down by a fucking fourth generation vampire. Maybe I need some backup.
Yeah, I don't think you understand you understand the difference between you and your friend who might, at best be like 12th level, 12th generation or something, and a fourth. That's literally a god that was standing in front of you, dude. Your friend and 1,000 friends are going to be no help to you whatsoever in that situation. for
Yeah.
him.
All right.
Right?
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. I head back to the safe house and I roll up to Bob's room and I knock on the door.
Okay. Bob. I don't know why we've lost Bob, but we've lost Bob. Um, is there something we can help you with, Bob? Is there something we can do to try to get you back working there, dude?
I think he has some mic issues.
Yeah, he just said something here. I'm going to drop and relog. Okay, he's going to drop and relog. All right. So, let me come back to that and let me
Mhm.
go over to Mox then. All right, Mox. Now you are you wake up and you are in a place you do not know. And let me just make sure I got this set up correctly. All right, let me come over here and show this. All right, let's go back to that. All right, good, good, good. All right, so now can you hear me, Mox?
Yep.
All right, awesome. You wake up and you're in a place you don't know. You're lying on. You're lying in a room that looks like it looks like a doctor's theater, operating type of room, but the old style ones, like they used to have like 100 some years ago, where they have like a circle of bleachers, and you're sitting on a metal gurney. You are you're dressed just as you were, but of course your shirt has been torn from when you torn it, and you're in a lot of pain. Actually, you're feeling real harsh and like someone just beat you with 1,000 hammers. And there is a burned brand-like rune scar on your belly. There's no one around you. You're alone in this room, but you wake up to a world of hurt. What would you like to do?
Mm, I get up off the gurney and see if there's any doors or windows.
There is a door that is at the top of the bleachers that is sitting right next to a large glass observation window, and there is a metal door on the ground level where you are behind you. You're
I'll
not.
try
You're
to
not. By the
leave.
way, you're not strapped down. You're not tied down. Nothing like that.
I'll try to go through the metal door that's on the same level.
It is locked.
Then I try the door at the top of the stairs.
It is also locked.
Hmm. Is there any vents or windows or anything else?
There are some vents pretty high up at the top of the room. You kind of, with your physicality, you probably shimmy your way up to one of those vents, probably. Yeah.
Okay. I try to climb up to the vent.
All right. Give me a strength roll and athletics if you have it.
I don't have that dice pulled up. Uh,
I'll send it to you right now, man. I have it pulled up. So
Oh, the teal thing?
check your DMs.
yes.
Yeah. You can use your own dice at home too if you want, dude. You can roll them on your own table. It's fine with me.
Um, so athletics and what?
Strength.
Strength?
Yeah.
It's-
Now, in this game, just to reiterate for you listening who don't know this game you have certain amount of pips. Like for instance, tell them how many pips do you have in strength and athletics combined. Because what we do is we take however many pips we have in our ability, in this case strength, and we add it to whatever skill applies. In this case, athletics. How many pips do you have total?
8 total.
8 total, so that's a lot. He's a very physical character. So what he's going to do is roll 8 10-sided dice, and he needs to get. In this case, he needs to get. It's not very difficult roll for him, being because he's kind of built for this. So he needs to get fives, and for each five he gets or more, it is a success. So you can go from one success, which is barely a success at all, to five, which is a phenomenal. You look like Batman who does fives all the time type of look. So what did you
Um,
get? What's your total of successes?
Well,
uh, I,
yeah, and Mox, in your DMs on Discord, I sent you the die rollers. So
yeah, if I load that up, I'm going to robot and lag out pretty hard. So y'all have to bear with me for a minute.
Okay.
I'm still screen sharing, aren't I?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're not seeing it though, dude, because I'm running everything through the presentation right now.
Okay, so I could even go back to the Hangout, and it wouldn't show anything.
Yeah, no, yeah, you'd be fine. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
Bob, is
Yes,
that
Yeah,
Bob.
you?
he's back.
Bob's
Yeah.
back. Awesome.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Sorry.
That's okay. I'll get you in a minute, Bob.
Yep.
What do you? So what'd you get? How many successes did you get?
I'm still loading up Chester.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. We'll wait for him to load.
Well, while he's loading up, Bob, I'm knocking on your door at the safe house. Do you let me in?
Okay. You knock a couple of times, and then after like the third time you knock, the door actually cracks open. You can walk in if you want.
All right, I come in and I take a seat. We'll have a talk here in a second. We'll let
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just get
do
through
his
Mox first.
Yeah.
How's it
Just to
going,
let you
Mox?
know, when you step in through the door, I didn't open the door. I'm still sitting literally hunched over the keyboard of my computer. I just remotely opened the door up. It's got like a remote lock on it.
I use a D10.
Yes. This game is all D10s. Yeah. Only D10s. Yeah. So you need to roll
And
8
that's
of those D10s and tell me how many fives you get. If you get any ones though, or tens, tell me.
I hit 2 5s and no ones.
Okay, you got 2 fives. All right. So you're able to climb get up to that vent, no problem. You're able to open it. It's a very tight squeeze, but then again, you're a female, you can shimmy through here, but it's not going to be a quick thing. It's not going to be fun. It's very tight, but you can fit in here. Do you enter?
Yes.
All right. So you start moving along the vent. I will get back to you in a moment. Now, we have Damien here. Is come into Zero Plague's room. He's kind of looking like he is here. The only difference is, of course, Zero Plague has red hair. Now, during this time, where these guys were out in the world, Plague, you saw a bunch of stuff going crazy on the vampire
Mm-hmm.
net, right? Because no matter what you're doing in that room, I'm sure one of your screens has the vampire net is up all at all times. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
obviously it's something you would have. You notice just things are going crazy. Now, you're actually haven't heard much from Boston, where you are yet, even though you know that crazy storm was going on, and now it's done, and now you have Damien up here sitting in your room with you. But during that time, there were crazy things going off. Washington D.C., Egypt, Beijing, Rio de Janeiro, London, Paris, not New York, but all these places. There was some major events, and all the whole Vampire Night is a light with everyone saying that antediluvians have announced or heralded their coming. All the events seem very similar. Some random, low-level vampire, popped up in the middle of somewhere, something floating in the air, giving us some announcement from one antediluvian or another, declaring the beginning of Gehenna. It's like the vampire world is going freaking crazy right now.
Okay. Now, was it different antediluvians in each city?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
One thing that I wanted to do, I actually wanted to do it as like a downtime between games, though. But I guess I can do it here.
Hmm.
I wanted to hack into the CCTV network for Boston.
Yeah.
Um, and I wanted to see if I could just start getting like footage around the city, trying to get a grip on, get an idea of what's going on around here.
Sure, no problem. And this is something you probably would have established already, but let's get our baseline roll for it, if you don't mind. Now, this city is a little more difficult than other cities,
Mm-hmm.
because a little bit. I don't know. You must have a lot more about the techno mages than the mages themselves. Now, you know that from the magi point of view, the techno mages are kind of like their boogeymen, their bad guys, their enemy. Right. Now, whether the techno mages are your enemy or not is completely up to you, of course. But these
Mm-hmm.
guys are all about complete control of the technological world, right?
Right.
You've been to other places. It's not like you haven't visited, even though we know your character was born in, or excuse me, has been in Boston for a very long time. But Boston is particularly difficult because the techno mages have a lot stronger hold here than they do in other cities. Which
Mhm.
means your rolls are a little harder when you're trying to hack Boston particularly.
Right.
How many dice do you have in intelligence and hacking or the computer?
I have 5 in intelligence and 5 in computer.
So you get freaking 10 dice. All right, now
Yeah.
because you are very skilled and specialized in these kind of things, it's only a 6 difficulty for you. Normally it would be
Okay.
higher, but it's for
Okay.
you it's only a 6. So roll those 10 dice and tell me how many 6s you get. Also tell me if you get 1s or 10s.
Right. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 successes and no failures. I got
Okay.
2 7s and 2 8s.
All right, awesome. Okay, so that's a very, very high success, and we're taking this as a baseline. We're assuming this is something you did a long time ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is your general access to what's going on in their world, which is, 4 is really good success. So you can interact with the internet here in Boston very easily without detection, no problem. Now, if the somehow you come to the notice of the technomancers, particularly, we can deal with that at that point. But for right now, you're unknown. Okay.
Yeah,
So what is it?
I figured this would be more like just like a back door that you can go into and then
Yeah.
get out as quickly as possible to avoid detection.
Yeah, that's fine. That sounds fine. So we have a nice strong baseline for that. Matter of fact, if you could do me a favor somewhere on your sheet, if you could write down the Boston network,
Mm-hmm.
4 successes, if you could just write that down so we know what your baseline is. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Well,
what do you
no,
want to
and
do?
I would say my character would sit down and light a cigarette. We're vampires, so it's not like he's gonna get cancer.
Well, I'm not.
So I
Not
don't
like I
even
breathe.
ask.
So
That is true. That is true. Yeah. But okay. So what are you trying to do, Plague?
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get basically closed circuit access so I can watch what's going on around the city with all the craziness that's going on. This
Um,
fight between the mages and the vampires because you're using powers out in the open.
They are. They are. And of course, you've been monitoring this all along. And I'll get back to you in a minute, Damien. This is before you came to the room. But you've been monitoring this situation, the whole time. Of course, is what you do. You do see currently that the cops are running around crazy. There is a good bit of flooding damage. There's been some lightning strikes in the city. Not all of Boston is not flooded, although there is. It's extremely heavy rain, like a tropical storm hit the city, which happens from time to time.
Mhm.
But the media is going crazy. What is happening now? But they've got to the point that humans always do, and this is something you are old enough to know. Humans don't want to believe in the supernatural. They don't want
Mhm.
to, right? And this is why when they see a werewolf or various things like that, odd things happen. Even magical things happen just from a human seeing it. The magi, with of course the paradoxes as well as associated with that, because the will of the collective human mind actually has an effect on the world. Some even argue that all the beginning of supernatural creatures and the supernatural world itself is created from the id of humanity itself. Right now,
Mhm.
this is you don't know if this is true or not, but that is one of the running theories, right? So
Yeah.
humans don't want to believe in the supernatural, so they're already got people on commentating on the TV, talking about, oh no, it's just a freak storm. It's connected to one of those wild white squalls we hear about. Oh yeah, and so they're already trying to talk themselves down from it. Now, you don't
Okay.
know if this is some magical effect that's coming in or it's just the nature of humans, but that's what's happening. Now, you get the knock on the door. Damien comes in. He's sitting next to you. So, Damien, what do you want to say to him?
All right, man. I explained to him what exactly I saw. I explained to him Serena being pretty much possessed and floating in the air, and I lay it all out for him. And I
Right.
tell him we got a fucking problem here, dude.
Oh, it's
What?
more than just a problem here, brother. and I take one of my screens and I tilt it towards him
Mhm.
to show him the feed that I'm getting from all over the world, the different cities. It's everywhere, man. It's literally everywhere. This is the end of the freaking world.
Mhm.
What do we do?
Or it's either the end of the freaking world or somebody wants us to think it's the end of the freaking world. Because I'm gonna tell you, at this point, I kind of, part of me's calling BS on this, man. Part of me's calling bullshit on this. It's they just all this crap just shows up all of a sudden like this. This feels like a power play of some kind.
Well, we can't take down a god. We can't kill a 4th generation vampire. We can't deobelize him. What should we do?
I don't know, man. Buy real estate in a island somewhere and take as many blood dolls with us as we can and try to ride this sucker out. I don't. We're talking about the beginning of everything. We're talking about the vampires that started it all. They're coming to eat everybody.
I called my Brewhaw connections in New Orleans. They're not coming up. I got.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. What are they going to do? I mean, like you said, we're talking about this. You're talking about fighting gods. This is way beyond our pay grade, man. I mean, at this point, like I said, part of me thinks that this might be some kind of a elaborate ruse by them trying to take this city, trying to make it look like that Gehenna is happening, and maybe try to get a foothold. But from what you told me, that sounds like the mages are into this crap too. So, dude,
Right.
I'm all about hacking it. I'm about hacking bank accounts and finding dirt on people. But this is beyond my pay grade.
Can you get us some scratch in case we have to bounce out?
I pointed at a box, like a lock box in the corner. I was like, dude, there's money in there, but I don't know how much money's going to do for us at this point. Like I said, this is happening everywhere. This is all over the world, and it's all different. It's not the same one. You said what was it, Baal?
But he told you Baal.
Okay,
Although you haven't got any chatter out of Boston because you would be the chatter from Boston, right?
right.
Or the Nosferatu, but because you probably know better than the rest of these guys that there are Nosferatu in the city that people don't know about. The other guys wouldn't be as aware of that. But because
Yeah,
the Nosferatu are the ones who are the main tech internet dudes in the world of
yeah.
darkness. But yeah, no, in Egypt, Sekhmet had announced, Sekhmet's Herald announced. In Paris, it was Tremere. In London, it was Toreador. In Beijing, it was who was it? Damn it, I can't remember the name of that one. And in another major city down Rio de Janeiro, it was Bruja.
Okay. Well, like I said, man. At this point, I honestly don't know what to do. At this point, man, other than just hope that hope that it's BS and that this is some kind of a power play by this. What? How does what? Why is a 4th gen coming in as a prince? The only reason that I can understand a 4th gen coming in as a prince is because they're trying to take the city.
Well, yeah, and you probably can answer that question yourself because the only one that called him the prince was you and the other vampires. He
Yeah.
never called
So
himself a prince. You guys
right.
assumed he was,
Yeah.
right?
So this explains why. On one hand, man, this explains why they're just doing this out in the open because it's the end of the world. This is it.
Hmm.
What are you going to hide from at this point?
And you
But
and you just to
I don't know.
reiterate a little bit on top of that. Sorry. Matter of fact, when you're thinking about it, it probably was Tati that started calling him the prince. By the way.
Yeah. So I don't think this dude's a prince. I think this dude is sent by the big wigs to try and find some way to stop this crap. I think what you just told me and everything that I'm seeing coming from the rest of the world, this changes everything. This changes the narrative.
Mhm. Well, just as information for you and as for our listeners as well, we it hasn't been directly announced, but seeing as this guy is walking around with 4 Justicars, he's most certainly representing the Camarilla. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, this guy isn't here as a prince to try and just take the city. He's here to try to basically stop the end of the world.
he is.
Well, here's a question, Chester.
Hmm.
And this is out of character. Has Bell killed the Camarilla leader yet? Has that happened?
Say this again. What?
Um, Israel Bell kills the one of the leaders of the Camarilla and declares war, and he
No.
switches to
No,
now.
no, no, no. This is not
Has
happening
that
here.
happened?
Yeah, no. This is my own homebrew world. I'm not following the fluff from even the later stuff from the World of Darkness. Just assume this is a standard second edition vampire that I've homebrewed the past many decades myself. Yeah, so it's not that world. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay.
Okay.
So I stand up and I go, how about we go talk to Benny? Let's figure out what's going on. Do you want to come downstairs with me?
Yeah, might as well, man. I mean, staying up here ain't gonna save me from what's coming.
All right.
But yeah, I reach over, I grab an empty, like a red empty backpack, and I walk down with him. And
Okay.
as soon as I get downstairs, I grab the drone and I stuff it into the backpack and stick it on my back.
Well,
All right.
Awesome.
And that's what I got. We joined the Benny's area.
Yeah.
So
No. Okay.
right.
No problem. I'll get back to you
Well,
guys. Now, Mox, you were crawling around, or let me come over to you real quick here. Or Sienna is crawling around in this venting, and you've been in there for a good 30 minutes, dude, trying to snake your way around. You came to a couple of right or left choices and stuff, and you've made a decision. You went right or left, and you haven't come across anything that is like a downward looking vent. Although up ahead you do see some light coming through a grating. It's the first grating you've come to. Now understand you are moving incredibly slow because it's so tight. But this is the first actual light of another room you've seen in a long time.
Look into the room.
Okay, sitting in this room, you see which you're not exactly sure what you're looking at, but you would call it a library or a study, you think,
Mm,
and it is empty. There's nobody in here.
Could I go into the room? Is the door locked?
Well, you can enter the room if you like, sure.
Okay. Can I use my celerity to quickly look around the room and see if there's anything of interest possibly lying around or in
Oh,
some of the
sure.
books?
No problem. You look around this room, and there's a lot of dusty old books and weird things in jars, statuettes, all kind of weird stuff. None of it makes any sense to you whatsoever, though.
I'll leave the room and continue heading back down the hall or the vent.
Okay. Well, first of all, just let me know do you have any dots in occult at all?
One.
You do have one. Okay. So you recognize it as being occult, magey stuff. Which of course you don't know where you are, right? So you have come across a room that is full of magey stuff. You were in in an old timey operating theater, and now you're in a place that has a bunch of weird magey occult stuff. All right.
Mm,
You go over the door, and I'm assuming you kind of peek out first, but then just open it and run in the hallway. I'm assuming, right? You're being
yes.
stealthful. Okay. You look down the hallway. So quite just like this room. It's a beautiful looking place. It's a lot of wood, and mahogany, and nice old, the very typical colonial craftsmanship that's very standard across Boston. And there's a hallway going to the right and to the left. To the left, it goes much further than to the right, where they both turn, which would be to the left or to the right or left, whether you're going right or left. So they're going back behind you. The hallways that are at the ends, you can't see what's at them. In front of you, though, the hallway is there's just a bunch of windows looking out onto a courtyard.
Hmm.
It's quite
I
beautiful little
want to.
courtyard, actually.
I want to look out of the windows into the courtyard and
Mhm.
see what I can see of interest.
All right. Well, in the hallway, you're looking directly across the courtyard. This courtyard is probably about 30 meters long, 40 maybe. It's pretty good size, but it's not particularly huge. On the other side of the courtyard, though, you do see another row of windows, and it's a courtyard. It's boxed in a courtyard, and there's windows to the right, to the left, and straight ahead, and all of them seem to be just a hallway like you're in. Matter of fact, by looking at it, you can see that you probably walk the whole thing just in the hallway if you just wanted to walk around. In the courtyard itself, you see there are a bunch of trees. There's some nice benches. There are some statues to some weird things. You don't know exactly what they are. They're definitely occulty. And you do see three people that are down in the courtyard having a very heated and serious chat. And all three of them are dressed. They're dressed like they should be in the end of the 19th century. Their clothing seems odd to you. It's not modern at all. But they're having a very heated conversation. It doesn't seem that they're angry, but they're excited about something in a bad way.
Are there any other doors nearby to rooms?
You do see that because you're at the end of the hallway for the room you're on. So there's the hallway continues around this thing that you're seeing here, that you could see the courtyard room. So you could follow that hallway around to your right, and then down to your left. There are two doors between you and the turn that goes to the right at the end of the hallway. Which again, this is the thing. It's walking around this windowed courtyard, right? And you're
Okay.
you're on the second level, by the way.
I choose to go to the left.
Okay. There are two doors between you and the end of this hallway.
Okay. Can I go through one of them?
The first one is locked,
Okay. And the second,
is open.
I'll go through.
Um, all right, you open this up, and in there, it looks like a storage room. It's not very big. It's not as big as that library thing you were in earlier, but there's a bunch of boxes and shelves with just random stuff stacked on it. On one side of the room, there's a bunch of weird occultic type items sitting on shelves, but the rest of it's like boxes and stuff. It's some kind of storage room.
Hmm. Can I inspect the room to see if there's anything of interest or value to me in here?
Oh, okay. What would you consider something of value to you?
Artifacts that might be made of gold or anything that could be used as, I don't know, a weapon or anything like that.
If you're talking about wealth, your general understanding of a cult would say that probably several of these things are probably valuable. You don't really know, but you're kind of guessing. And there is a dagger sitting here. It seems rather ceremonial, but when you pick it up and hold it in your hand, it seems solid, though.
I'll take the dagger and leave the room.
All right. So what do you
And
want to do?
there were two doors that blocked my way to the other side.
No, no, no.
That I
There's a hallway that just that goes around the courtyard. Now that you're at the end of the hallway, you do notice you couldn't see it before, but there's actually a stairwell that goes straight down at the end of the hallway. Actually, it's a two-run stairwell going down to the first level, or ground level. Or you
I'll
can
take
continue to the right and just you see more doors. It's basically you have a courtyard, you have a windowed hallway that boxes itself around that courtyard, and there are many rooms just like the hallway you just went out of. Or you can head down the stairwell, which is right in front of you now.
I'll take the stairwell.
All right. You get down to the first level, and as you're coming down to the first level, you kind of pause because you are being stealthful, and you look in, and there is a very large room here. That is actually open to the courtyard. You see that so this room is like half in the open air and half inside, right? And other than the three guys who were sitting having a conversation in the courtyard itself, in this room that you just walked into, and there's actually there's kind of like a hallway heading ahead of you that looks like there's probably other similar type of rooms ahead, but there to your right into this covered room, there are probably a dozen people in there that are chatting, working on things. They all seem to be quite a buzz about doing something. They're quite focused in their activities.
You said people. These are people?
These are all people. They're all dressed oddly, though. and eclectically. They're not wearing uniforms per se, but they just their wear is not appropriate for the 21st century.
Can I use my occult ability to detect anything about them or my senses?
Well, everything that's telling you so far that you have come across is that you are somewhere surrounded by magi. That's the
Right.
feeling you're getting. Yeah.
Okay. So I probably don't want to be seen by these people.
Well,
Uh,
you were in one of the rooms. You're kind of assuming that they know you're here already, right?
yeah, but I don't want them to see me trying to
No, I
leave
get that.
either.
I get that. Yeah.
Um, is there any way that I would be able to get out of here without any of them seeing me
What kind of
across?
disciplines do you have?
I know I have celerity,
Hmm.
potence, and fortitude.
Yep, those things are great for a fight, but they're not good for sneaking. Now you could use your stealth, and you could try to sneak your way out. You could certainly do that.
Mm.
How many dice you have in dexterity and stealth?
Let's see. I have 3 in dexterity, and my stealth is 2. So 5 total.
5 total. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not a bad dice pool. And
And since
they are all quite busy and involved. They're not actively looking for you yet.
all right, I'll try to go ahead and stealthily go across, and I need to roll 5d10.
Yep, just roll the 5 dice and tell me every 5 is a success. Is quite basic because they're busy. So give me fives and tell me if you get any ones or tens.
I have a 9, 7, and 3 twos.
All right, 9 and 7's nice. Yeah, go ahead, Dinale.
And I think, and you can roll willpower if you want as well.
Oh yeah, go ahead and
Um,
explain that rule, Dinale.
Right. So basically, sometimes you need to figure out, like, oh, I rolled something and it's just not quite enough, or this is something that is critical. So you're saying, I'm going to roll willpower to re-roll some of those dices. I think up to 3, and any successes additionally, you'll add it to your successes, and you'll mark one of the um, boxes off until you do something from your demeanor and nature to regain that willpower. So
That's
you
right.
kind of spend some of your willpower. Yeah.
You can use willpower, kind of like karma or bonus dice or fate dice or whatever it is in the various games. But you can do that, but you don't need it right now. 2 is fine. But that is a good point to keep in mind. You guys can use willpower to try to boost your rolls, extra dice, right? Is there a maximum willpower you can use in a round though? Dana-
Maximum per round is just um is 1 willpower per round.
So it is limited like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're able to stealth your way across the room to the other side. Now here there is a hallway. Now you see there's another similar type of room that's opening on this courtyard. Beyond of this hallway that is heading to your right, you see is going into a beautiful lobby type of area. You can see that there are big stairwells that are heading up, kind of off to the sides because it opens up and you see that there's a big giant doorway there, but there are a couple people that are talking in the hallway though, in the lobby hallway though.
mm, there are people.
There are people.
Do, uh, is there any way that I can use my celerity and get upon them very fast and then try to knock them out or something
Sure,
like that?
of course. Yeah, yeah.
What would I need to roll for that?
Well, you use your celerity, and then because you're trying to do this stealthily, you would give me a dexterity stealth roll.
Okay, and dexterity is my 3, and the stealth I just looked at is 2, so I
There you
need.
go. And this, because you're using your celerity, it's actually only a 4 difficulty for you. So you need
How many
4s.
dots?
Oh,
How
that
many
was
dots do you
horrible.
have insularity? Because you can actually take more actions than just that if you've got more dots.
You can.
Just the
Yeah.
just one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I I got a 7 and 2 4s, a 2 and a 1.
Okay.
So the
The
one
7
counteract.
and the 1 cancel each other out, so you have no successes on your stealth. Therefore, they see you coming. All right. What they do is you notice that both of them pull out are trying to pull something out from the side of their sides is what their actions are, but they are calling out alarm. What do you want to do?
Um, can I grab one by the arm and fling him into the other?
You can certainly try. Sure.
Okay. And I use my strength on that.
Well, you got to use your strength and your brawl.
Okay. And the brawl.
And don't forget your potency if you want to use that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Strength and brawl together is 8.
Okay. Go ahead.
And you said the dexterity as well, or what was that, Denali?
No, no, no. He said potency.
Oh,
Have
potency.
you read your potency? Understand what it does?
It's exemplar health, I think. Or it might have been
Well, it makes you
fortitude.
stronger, right?
Okay.
Yeah. If potency is for strength, fortitude is for your stamina, right? But 8 is plenty. Go ahead and make your roll. Now you are trying to do a complicated move, so I'm going to give you a difficulty of 6.
Okay. Where'd the dice go?
I don't know.
This is weird.
What's going on?
Every time I press throw, the screen goes blank, and I can keep clicking. It'll come back to the main screen for the dice.
Just reload it. Just reload the
Yeah,
page.
there we go. Great. I picked up 3 1s, an 8, a 5, and a 6.
All right. You try to get a hold of the guy. You completely miss, and you stumble over yourself, and you're lying face first on the ground. You hit pretty hard too, of course you immediately try to get yourself up. These two guys are in a perfect defensive position. With one of them is holding a fancy looking pencil, and pointing the fancy looking pencil at you. The other one has what looks like a one of those old kind of plastic girly batons that the little kids would spin around in their hand and try to be a majorette type of thing.
Mhm.
He's holding this in his hand, pointing at you. But more important than that, when you are come to your feet, they don't attack you, by the way. When you are just getting to your feet and trying to assess your situation, you see the prince is standing, leaning against the wall, looking at you.
Um, I asked him, why am I here?
You're here to see what value you have. You have none. You may leave.
I leave the house immediately and begin to go back to the house, the safe house we stay at.
All right. Uh, so you are en route. No one seems to be following you either. Back over the house. Denali, what are you doing?
I'm still researching the Gehenna, seeing if there's any way to stop Gehenna, if there's any means or any clues for it.
Nope. Just death
Just death. Okay.
that you know of. But you do realize that Gehenna is barely a theory, right? And
Right.
this majority of vampires think it's this nonsense folklore. There are some that follow it and believe in it, but there's not a lot of information. And honestly, most of it is very religious-like in its manner, rather than historical and accurate information, right? You don't know much about Gehenna at all. All it is supposedly the antediluvians who are sleeping wake up and murder the world. There's really not that much beyond that, dude. It's not well known. It's a fear. Particularly the older the vampire, the more they seem to fear it. Actually, the younger generation just dismiss it completely.
Okay.
All right.
Then I'll finish. up to finish my research and then head up to the bar where the others
Head
are
down
at.
to the bar. Okay. All
You
right.
said head up because I'm in my
Oh, that's right.
laboratory.
You're down in your lab. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um, so you head up, and these guys head down. You're all in Benny's place, and it is getting later in the evening, but you still have a few hours before sunlight, dawn, of course. And there's not a lot of vampires in here, but there are a few. It's mainly those stragglers that have nothing else to do with their life but to sit here and chat and spend the little money they have to pay Benny for drinks of blood or what have you. Benny is sitting here tending the bar, just kind of chatting. They all are buzz. The few that are in here are all a buzz of what has been happening and wondering. Of course, they don't know exactly what's going on. And you guys all converge on the Benny's place about the same time. Tati is not here, by the way, nor is Rhaegar.
Well, smoke them while you got them, because it's about to all go down the drain.
So do you guys talk about to the other vampires what happened this night, or do you keep it to yourself?
I'm pretty much keeping it close to the vest at this point because, like I said, I'm still not completely convinced of everything that's going on here.
Okay.
I would tell Benny, hey, if Ragnar comes back, can you give him a message that we're looking for him?
He says sure. He does ask you a few questions. What happened out there tonight? Did you guys see anything? Because keep in mind, they don't know what you were doing particularly, right?
Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria.
Okay. How much information do you give the patrons here?
I'm just being a smart aleck, so I'm just pretty much just sitting in the corner and making quips because at this point I don't know what to do.
That's where I walk up to Benny directly and I go, "Hey, how about a shot of blood?" And I go, "Hey, you got a second?"
Yeah, probably. I don't think you guys would say a shot of blood. I think you would just say a shot.
Okay, well,
He
yeah.
wants a
Hey,
Bloody Mary. He wants a
Right,
very
right, right.
Bloody Mary.
So what do you ask him?
hey, do you know what happened?
You're talking to Benny.
Yeah.
Okay. He said, no, I just asked you that.
All right. Well, I lay down the basic premise of what went down. What's his response?
Benny has no clue whatsoever, it seems.
Ah, it seems. So he does. I prod a little bit. I'm gonna use my charisma score. I got 4 in that. Do you want me to roll?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Do you can use your manipulation if you'd like as a skill. Go ahead.
All right.
What?
So that gives me 6 dice total. I'm looking at a 10, a 6, an 8, and a 5. I got a 2 and a 3 also, but I did not botch.
All right. As you're sitting here chatting with Benny, Benny's being typical Benny, which he's very vague about everything. He's always that way. Although he can be a chatterbox, but you can tell he's withholding some kind of information, but he's not breaking.
All right. I keep prodding a little bit. Do you want me to roll again?
No, no, I don't. But you
Um,
keep getting. He's not giving the information. You would actually have to get this out of him. You'd have to engage a power like presence or something, which you have. But
I'm,
that is an aggressive act, right? Just keep that in mind.
I'm
But whilst you are
I'm not.
doing
I'm
that,
not.
yeah, okay. Whilst you guys are doing what you're doing, you see Mox walks into the bar. Excuse me, Sienna walks into the bar.
I drop everything and I head towards her.
look who ain't dead.
I tell them that I woke up in this hospital type environment, a surgical room, and I escaped only with the prince's allowance of it. He said that I was of no value and he let me leave unharmed.
What's it like having God talk through you?
I don't remember.
No, he doesn't. Yeah,
Mm.
he doesn't.
Well, you ain't the only one, kid.
All right.
So I kind of say, okay, how about how much daylight do we have left?
I say get about 4 hours.
4 hours. I say, hey guys, how about a drive? It's getting a little bit stuffy here.
You want to
All
go
of
out in the
us.
sunlight?
It's 4 hours before sunlight.
It is a
Oh, okay.
bit, yeah, that's true. But for a vampire, that's kind of pushing it. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do have dark tenant windows. I don't know if that counts,
Oh no,
but
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I guarantee you do. You are prepared. You don't. You're not brand new vampires. You guys know who and what you are, so you're
Right.
obviously prepared.
Right. So we're just gonna take a short drive and then come right back.
All right,
Okay, so
shotgun.
you want to cut. You want to have a collab against with each other to see what's going on.
Right.
All right, go ahead and have that conversation then.
yeah,
All
we
right.
head out to my car. We jump in. Where do you want me to go, guys?
I don't
Just
know, but
drive.
All
this
right,
thing doesn't even, this thing doesn't
I
even have. This thing
drive
doesn't.
around the block then.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. This thing
Now,
doesn't even have a USB adapter in it. What the hell, man?
you guys, as you guys are driving around, you do notice that there are a lot of police sirens and fire engines are moving around. There is a lot of chaos in the city, even though it's very late. There is still some streets that are pretty flooded. This now, I'm not talking about full on flooding of Boston. I'm just talking about very heavy water standing in the street, right? But the mainly the only people you see moving around are service people like police and ambulances and fire engines and things like that.
So who wants to rent a helicopter and get the hell out of here?
Hey,
Sounds
you want to be serious? I got friends down in Nolans.
I'll be honest with you, man. There ain't nowhere we can go that we can escape this as if it's real. Emphasis on if it's real. Because let's be fair. Let's be honest here. Let's be fair here. Cam's been trying to take this city forever. Forever. And while it may seem crazy, it may seem extreme, this is possibly a way to try to get inside the mage's defenses so they could take him out.
Mhm. But
could be, but
What?
just
No,
let me add
I
a
am.
little. Let me add a little caveat to that, just to make sure I was understood when I was talking before. Um, the When the Magus was when the event happened with Sienna, the Magus automatically relented from his position, and the prince is sitting in the chantry right now. Right,
Okay.
that means
Yeah.
something, right?
right, and that's what I would be pointing out. My character would be pointing out to Zero Plague, saying, "Look, he said when we were at the fountain, Sienna and Dean and Gibbs here, he said that their base in Keston, Istanbul has been working with them, and as you, I don't know what else has been going on in the loop, but I'm pretty sure whatever's happening here is happening all over the world."
Oh,
Well,
it's definitely. Oh, yeah. I pull out my smartphone and I just pull up the video off of VampNet and I just hold it out to them and said, "Oh yeah, it's happening everywhere."
Right.
Should we
So
perhaps go to where this prince and this meeting is going to occur?
You want to
back to the
die?
chantry.
Well, no,
That is
and
true.
I
Get
cut in.
in.
I cut in. Why the fuck did they let us live? Why were
'Cause
we
we-
allowed to walk away?
Because we don't matter.
we're low generation vampires. Gehenna is really the fear of the higher generation because the
Yeah.
antediluvians, which are third generation vampires, are going to try to eat everybody of higher generations.
Yeah. And none of that, but we're cave. They don't care about us.
So if we were to go where this meeting is, no one says we have to go in. We could use your technology with your drones to spy on it, or our abilities to listen in from a distance. We don't have to enter the house.
Mm.
Question: my character would know about the tecto mages.
Oh yeah.
I would point out there's mages that would be watching that, especially if this is kind of the end of the world kind of
Yeah,
deal.
but you
Mhm.
also know that the techno mages and the magi are nowhere near friends, dude. They're quite enemies, right?
Well, when the end of
Um,
the world ends,
I
alliances
mean,
shift.
I'm all for going over there and everything, but just so you guys are aware, I mean, they'll just as soon kill us as let us go.
Right.
But I mean, at this point, if we want to figure anything out, uh, I'm okay with it. It's not like I'm going in there.
Do we have options for someone else we can approach?
I'll go in.
I'm thinking we need to get passage for the underground. So we need to talk to the Nosferatu elders because I
Ragar's not going to help us though, Al. Ragar has been scared away already.
that
I didn't see Ragar at Benny's. I
because
don't think he has our back anymore.
Well, I can get on the net and find out.
Do
Because
that.
yeah,
the Nos are in this area. They're the ones who are in control of it. So
right. So we need to
That's
talk to
what we
the
can
other
do.
to negotiate passage for the underground because I know that if this is really happening, regardless if it's BS or it's actually happening, we're going to need to move freely without any hindrance, upside and downside.
Hey,
Second thing, there was discussion about that drugs that was forcing mages to awaken.
making mages pop, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that might help us with getting an in with the mages
Uh-huh.
and seeing because they can warp realities. So there's nothing about mages disappearing after Gehenna, just vampire kind.
It's one of the
And
reasons why I'm kind of wondering what's up with the friggin' maggots because what do they care if we all die?
right,
Gehenna would be called Armageddon to them.
Oh, I know,
yeah,
I know. I'm just saying that their version of it's different than ours, correct?
Not really.
Hmm.
The
Okay,
supernatural world's end of the world is very, very consistent. The human one is slightly different because
okay,
it's just biblical. But no, they understand what Gehenna is, and it affects them just as much as it does you.
okay.
well,
Well,
if the end of the world is coming, then should reach out to a foe. Maybe we have common cause. Maybe we talk to the flea bags.
yeah, you know what? I'll wait in the
yeah,
car.
yeah,
Yeah, you can
yeah.
go there by
You can
yourself.
go.
Yeah, yeah. Enjoy
Yeah,
yourself. Have
Those
fun.
guys, man, those guys are crazy.
They are called
They
the
are.
Bone Gnorers for a reason.
Yeah, the only way I would even be entertain the idea of approaching them is if we had something absolutely 100% concrete to either defend ourselves with or that they want.
and we have none.
And we
So
have none of that.
And the
So we are,
sun
I'm not going anywhere near them.
and the sun is coming.
Yeah.
all right, so let's head back.
I start heading back to Benny's. I do a U-turn straight up.
All
Now,
right.
do we have enough time to go past the chantry if he wants to see if we can get a look inside?
Yeah, you do. You do. You're pushing it, but you do. Yeah.
I mean,
Then we,
I got the best
then we
stuff that
head
can,
that way.
okay. I got the best stuff that I could fit on this drone, but I don't guarantee that it's going to pick up Jack.
Okay.
We're talking
You
about magic here.
Now you guys know exactly where the chantry is. Of course, you do. It might not be the most well known to the humans of the city, but of course you know where it is. And as you drive by, it's gone.
Well, that takes care of that.
Yep.
Home,
Hmm.
James.
What do you mean it's gone?
I mean, it's
Could be
gone.
magical.
There is a Cumberland Farm sitting where the chantry should be. That's a convenience store for those of you who don't know.
You remember when I said maybe we should jump on a helicopter and bail? Looks like they've already done that.
I head around the block and I start headed back to Benny's, but I'm confused. Where did they go, guys?
They hailed. We don't know where they went. they disappear. The reality just burped them out because of all the paradox they did in the world.
They're mages. They do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably went someplace where they could plan to try to either stop this thing, if that's even possible, or write it out or something. So they basically, I'm assuming all logic. I say that they changed location, trying to prepare for what's coming. I don't think they just I don't think they just burped out of existence or disappeared. I think that it was deliberate and they went somewhere else. But where that is, dude, it could be on the top of Mount Everest for all we know.
We start to approach Benny's, and I pull into the drive.
All right. Now, over the next 5 days, Ragnar is nowhere to be seen. The Chantry is still at Cumberland Farms. Nothing is going on in this city at all. At all. The
Wait,
vampires
Benny's
in this city. Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. I'm going to lay it out. And every vampire in this city that you guys see coming in and out of Benny's all the time are in Benny's every night, all night. They are not going out. Matter of fact, Benny is making tons of money because no one's going to the blood dolls or nothing. They're all hanging inside Benny's. Everyone is scared. The tension, the atmosphere is very thick. And also, by the way, Tati is not showing up. The only two people who are always there are not there is Rhaegar and Tati. There's no motion now. As far as you go, Plague, there is all kind of buzz coming out from 13 cities across the country except Boston. Unless you are making noise, there's nothing coming out of Boston at all.
I'll start putting into the friggin' the vamp net.
Okay.
I'll start dropping what little bit. I'm not gonna like throw names because I don't want to get Sienna into more crap than she's already in. But I'll start adding information just to see if I can glean some more from somebody else.
Okay, and you get as much information as there is, and basically, what you find out over the span of 5 days, the information you gain, is that every city happened very similar to what happened here. Like I said, there was a low generation vampire who had a rune appear on them. They glowed, they spoke. The voice of a antediluvian spoke through them. There are 13 cities that this happened in. There has been no noise of any kind of attack or anything like that. Just the heraldry, just the announcement took place, and it's all a buzz. Some of them are saying this is the end of times. Others saying it's a hoax. Other people, I mean, it's all kind of speculation going on. Now you know, because of how old you are and how good you are at what you do, that most of that is just nonsense Twitter garbage that doesn't mean anything. You pay attention more to what the Nosferatu are saying, and the Nosferatu are saying nothing at all.
Okay. One thing, the sigils, are they all the same or are they different?
No, they're all different. They're all different. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, there's a whole bunch of conspiracy talk going on about the sigils. What do they mean? Because no one seems to know the language. And there are
Well,
people, the autism
antediluvian.
exactly. Autism exists within the vampire world just as much as the human one, and no one knows what those runes mean. But they're all different. Yeah.
All right.
I would say let's talk to locate Tatiana. And I would ask
Um,
Betty where she would normally,
Oh, hold on a second. Let me give this bit of information before I forget it. All the other everyone thought it was because you've been chatting for a few days about this plague on and giving information, and every the other cities, the Herald announced the antediluvian by a very standard name. Here in Boston, it said Baal, and everyone thought that was weird because Baal simply means Lord. But by simply a process of elimination, Baal must be Semitzi.
okay. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and I'll add that little bit of information. One other thing, I know I have a, where's it at here? I know I have the access, the limited access into Boston Dynamics, into their geosynchronous satellites.
You do.
I wanted to see if I could get a real quick look at each region at the time that these happened to see if anything like some kind of strange thing was happening going on there.
Well, that's going to take a bit of work, but you do have time. Like I said, 5 days has passed, and so
Yeah. Do you
that's
need me to
plenty
do any
for.
rolls or?
No, no, no. For you,
And I
it's not that big a deal. And actually, you can glean that not just from satellites, also from stuff that's coming on the net, because others are doing similar
Mhm.
things. And you are able to get about half of them. You actually get a little bit of imagery, whether it be from It's actually only one that's from a satellite, but the rest of them are from like cell phones or other things like this. Yours happened. It was a little bit different because this fourth generation vampire and the Magus were going at it. In the other cities, there weren't anything particularly going on. They were just normal
Okay.
day-to-day operations. So when these things happen in the middle of a park, baseball game, what have you, this has been going around in the human world too, because not all, but some of these were seen, and of course the humans are doing what they do. Some people are instant believers, others like it's some kind of internet hoax or what have you. But
Okay.
you've gleaned
Um,
about half of it. Yeah.
All right. So one last thing I did want to do in this time period is I wanted to see if I could contact the local Nosferatu through the Vamp net to see if I could get some way of getting clearance for us to travel underground if necessary.
Well, you have had a few chats with them. They don't shun you completely, but you put out a message, and for the first 4 days, you're doing a lot of. You're very. I'm going to come to each of you, by the way. Don't worry about it. But for the first 4 days, you're doing all kind of things, and then no response, no response, no response. And then today, which is the fifth day, you get a response. Benny's 2 hours.
Okay. Okay. I will relay that to everybody.
All right. So Denali, 5 days. What do you want to do?
All right. Well, I would be with Zero Plague, looking while he's looking at the other things. I'm looking at signs to see if there's any signs of Gehenna, like the red star or anything that's supposedly showing that Gehenna is upon us or
Well,
close to it.
the internet is full of a lot of stuff, and
Mhm.
red stars, moons in the sky, two suns, all this kind of stuff has been going on for a good year anyway. Whether
Mhm.
you don't know if it's true or not, you certainly haven't seen it with your own eyes, but the internet is full of it. As far as other things, as far as you making with any contacts you have, or through
Mhm.
because you can use the vampire net as well, right? I mean, it's not like
Huh.
it's only Play can do it. What you do know is there have been, from the occult point of view, there are a lot of vampires are giving out information that there are a lot more wraiths and other strange things from the Umbra showing up.
Okay.
And they're all saying it's a sign, it's a sign. There's all manner of conspiracy theory going around.
Elvis appears in a tortilla. It's a sign.
It is. That's right. Yeah.
All right.
Christ in pizzas.
Oh, okay. But I'm looking more exactly when the herald showed up. If there's anything, more things happening around that time, like
At that
was there?
moment, no. After
Yeah.
that moment,
Yeah.
yeah, you're seeing more activity from the Umbra.
Okay.
All right.
Let me see. Yep.
Anything else?
Um, that's about it. I mean, let me see. It's really more researching and looking to see what can be done, what can be prepared.
Okay.
Um, but that's
Now,
what I'll do. And go ahead.
now, you guys, of course, live in. I'm going to come to each of you in a moment. The other two of you guys in a moment. But one thing you have noticed over the past few days is you guys are running around doing what you're doing, trying to gather information, make your decisions on what you want to do. Benny is Benny. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't give any information. He's Benny. Right. The
Right.
vampires are every day chatting. They're becoming more and more stressed. The tension is becoming higher and higher. They don't know what's going on. Everyone's scared. Right. But other than Ragar and Tati not being anywhere near this place, Delilah is also not here.
Huh.
Anything else, Al?
I would talk about Benny because I would have noticed during the last conversation before Sienna came back that he was holding back, and I would try to be talking to him to see if I can get some information out of him.
Benny knows you longer than anybody else, but Benny is Benny, dude. And he's not. I mean, you could try to force him. You could try to use presence. You could try to do something forcibly, but short of that, he's giving you nothing. And you know, the more so than the other guys, Benny is not young. He's pretty old. You
Yeah.
don't know what generation he is or anything like that. You haven't really seen him use powers actually, but you know he. This is not a weak vampire you're talking to. So he's not easily just simply persuaded from skill rolls. So
Mm,
unless you want to go to that next level, Benny is going to give you nothing because that's what he
mm,
does. He's an enigma.
mm.
Once you get
Yeah.
done with everybody, I did want to see if I could try to talk to Benny about something.
Yeah, I'm coming to you in a minute. I'm just seeing if Al has anything else he wants to do in those intervening days.
No, nothing else
All right.
at the moment.
All right. So let's jump back over here to Plague. What you doing, dude?
Did the other guys? You guys want to do anything or?
Yeah, no, I got something.
All right.
All
Let's
right,
go to
so
Damien then. All right.
yeah, I got a contact on the Boston Police Department. I give him a call.
Mhm.
Hey man, anything odd going on?
So now,
You
is
got
this a
any?
human contact or is this a supernatural contact?
This is a human contact.
Okay. He says, well, other than a few days, well, it depends on when you're asking him. Other than the event of the storm, and the weirdness of the storm, and all the thing, the only other weird thing he knows about is that there's the gang wars have stopped just instantly. So the storm and the end of whatever fighting was going on in the city, that's the oddness he's seen. Other than that, nothing.
All right. Hey, thank you, and I hang up. I head back into the bar because I stood outside to talk on my cell phone. I head back in and I walk up to Benny. I'm not going to use awe or anything. I'm just going to walk up and have a conversation with him.
All right.
Hey, man, I called my contacts down in Nolans. You know, I got some brew hog contacts down there.
Oh, by the way, they are well aware of what's going on now. Nothing happened in New Orleans, so they didn't know at the moment you talked to them initially. But now they know exactly what's going on. Well, they know as much as you do.
All right, so I relay that back to Benny. Go, hey, you know, I got some friends down there. You know, they're in, you know, they're Bruja. This is what's going on down south. What's our move, man? Does he say anything back, or does he just ignore me?
He's like, yeah, it's crazy time, man. Crazy time. I don't know what's going on. I hope it's not the end of days, man. I really hope it's not, man. I like my business here. I'm making a lot of money right now, you know?
Yeah, no, totally, Benny. That's awesome. And by the way, another shot, please. And I throw a couple bucks down on the
Yeah.
counter.
Well, he probably
And
in this modern time is probably like $5 or $8, maybe $8. We'll say $8 is Boston.
okay, fair enough. So I throw down a 10 spot. Hey, Benny, keep the change. Um, you know, yeah, my contacts they're kind of freaking out, man. We don't know exactly how this is all going to play out. What do
Everybody's
you
freaking
think?
out. Everybody.
Fair enough. I take my shot and I head back towards Al and the rest of the guys.
All right. Sienna. You have 5 days. You want to do anything in that time? Just keep in mind that of course, the wound that you had in your belly has healed, but the scar has not gone away. You are branded. Also, in the intervening days, I didn't deal with experience and stuff. I'll deal with that at the end here. It doesn't really apply to what we're doing right now, so I didn't really get into it. But we do need to make some adjustments to Sienna, though. Two things have happened to you in the intervening days. One, you change on your character sheet. Your character is now, in essence, considered 12th generation. Please change that.
No shit. She jumped ahead of us?
in a way. Yeah.
And I apologize for cussing. I've been trying not to. I apologize, Chester. My
That's all
bad.
right. Also, I want you to you have 3 points that you can throw into your physical abilities. You can choose as you like, and you have 2 dots that you can throw into your existing disciplines.
How many in my disciplines?
2,
Two.
3 in physical, and 2 in your disciplines. Other than that, there's nothing else. Oh, by the way, you can't walk in the sun anymore, and you can't eat
Oh,
food
Yeah,
anymore.
well, yeah, 12th gen. Yeah, she can't walk in the sun. Yeah.
Yeah,
can't walk in the sun anymore. And what was the other
you
thing?
can't eat food anymore.
Oh,
You're a full-on vampire now.
Just a question, and it doesn't matter either way. I'm just wondering, are the rest of us going to get some experience points out
Yes,
of the first
you
session?
are. We'll do that at the end of the session for sure. But that's just something special was going on with his character. Um, okay. So other than that, Sienna, what are you doing during the intervening days?
I just kind of keep tabs on all the people in the group and just see where they are headed with their research and keep an eye open on the bar to see anything or hear anything that I can of use.
hmm Now,
Well,
as you were
yeah,
in these days,
I do have.
hold on a second. Let me finish. In these days, something does happen for you, Sienna. You're sitting in the bar, you're listening, and everyone's chatting about what's going on. No one has any real information, right? But they're all speculating and talking day to day, and which is weird because vampires don't tend to go so long without doing something debauched. But they're all very concerned right now, and this is very kind of tame things that are going on right now. But something you start noticing is out of the corner of your eye, you see movement every now and then. You kind of look over to see what's going on, and as the days go by, you are able to see there are Nosferatu standing in the bar listening. And where they were hidden in the beginning, as the days go by, they become unhidden to you.
Do other vampires see them?
Nope, just you.
Well, and here's my question. Does she is she being kind of for lack of a better term, a shy bitch? Is she
Huh?
shying away from everybody, or is she interacting
That's
amongst?
up to Mox. He's going to tell us
She,
what he's doing that days. I'm just giving him some extra things that are happening to him specifically because he just went through a very traumatic event. This Sienna character, and she was created under very different circumstances than a normal vampire. So therefore, weird things. She is odd. She's not a normal vampire. There's something still odd about Sienna. I'm just saying that, and what this translates down to. And you can put on your character sheet, Mox, you are now basically immune from magical effects, and nothing can be. You have true sight in a way. Is how it works out. Just write down true sight for right now. We'll deal with the rest later.
All
okay.
right, so I walk up to Sienna, and I sit down and go, "Hey, how you doing, girl?
Uh,
You all right?"
she's slightly standoffish and says she's fine.
Okay. Do you do anything in the intervening 5 days?
Um, I go up to, can I speak with these Nosferatu that I'm seeing in the bar?
You could try.
She walks up to one of them that she sees and stares at it.
It seems bewildered that you can see it, and it looks at you. It's a female Nosferatu, and it kind of nods at you. It doesn't understand why you can see it though, but it doesn't panic. It doesn't run, but it's obviously concerned.
From the other side of the bar, unless you want me to roll, I'll
No, hold on,
say I
hold on.
noticed.
This is his time in the intervening 5 days. We're not at the last day yet. This is what he's doing during that time. We'll get to that in a minute, dude.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Sorry.
Try to see if I can touch it and if it's an actual physical form.
It immediately goes into a defensive position if you start to reach out at it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll pull my hand back and step away from it and maintain eye contact. Um, for the time being, I'll go to the bar and ask Benny for a drink and ask him, has he seen anything or heard anything about strange creatures or vampires here?
He said, "Oh, I've heard all kind of stuff. You know, they say in the underway there that there's Sabat down there. Did you know that? I don't go down there. That's a dangerous place, man."
I ask him, does he know why there are Nosferatu here?
Huh? I haven't seen Rhaegar in days, man.
I explain to him, not him, but the others that are here.
What others? What are you talking about?
How many of them do I see in the room now?
It tends to run between 3 and 5.
I
They
point
stay
across
tight to
the
the
room.
walls and they're just listening and watching.
I point to the walls where one of them is standing and say, you don't see those?
He said, "You're right, man. I know you went through a hard time. Maybe you need some rest. Here," and he pours a shot. "Have this on the house, man. You'll be all right. You'll be all right."
Hmm. I drink the blood and walk away from the bar and just stay there watching the Nosferatu in the room.
All right, and they don't do anything particular. They don't take any action. They're simply observing. And every now and then you'll see one walk out, and they all look at you from time to time. They're aware that you see them, but they seem to be on mission or something because they're not breaking away just because you see them. Occasionally, one will leave the room and it'll head down into where Al's space down below, head down that stairwell, and another one will come and replace it within a few minutes. But this place is under constant observation.
Do they notice the rest of us? Are they paying any attention to Damien or Al?
Not in particular. They're just watching the room.
Okay.
Anything else, Sienna?
No, she'll just kind of stay in there and watch them for the time being.
All right. Now, during these intervening days, you guys have all done the stuff that you're going to do, and you're trying to gather information. And there's not a lot of information to gain, unfortunately. It's all speculation. No one knows what's going on. There's been no attack. There's been nothing like that. Just the event of the night, which happened worldwide, and they all didn't happen the same time. Of course, they happened during the darkness times, but some of them were quite public, and the majority of them weren't so public. And like I said, there's only about, even though there are rumors and information that they happen in 13 different cities, there's only about 6 of them that are actually documented. So the rest of them are just simply, witness accounts type of information. But while you guys are sitting here and speculating and talking, and all the chatter is going on in the room, coming down the stairwell from the main kind of storm shutter entrance to Benny's, you see walking down. You see the prince. You see Lara. You see Tati, and you also see Delilah. Rhaegar is not here. All right. Um, uh,
I I I gotta cut you off because I head towards the back of the bar.
all right, that's fine.
I put some distance between me and the prince.
He says, "Good evening, my brethren." Of course, the bar all tenses up. Some people head to the bar. Some people get into defensive positions. Others just sit looking at them. Do any of you guys do anything particular other than Damien going to the back of the bar?
I'm at the back of the bar and I lean against the wall with my arms folded over, and I'm eyeballing him. I'm locking eyes. So
Anybody else?
I
watch,
just flash him a quick peace sign. It's like, "What's up, dude?"
I watch the Nosferatu to see what they do once these people arrive.
They immediately file out of the room.
Hmm.
I my character Al is just reading a book, and he'll just wait patiently to see what the prince will be saying.
Okay. Let's see. Everyone is stated. Okay. So the prince says, everyone return to their havens immediately. The bar stands up and leaves. No one questions him at all. No one even bothers to show any bit of bravado. But then keep in mind, these are mainly everyone in here is caitiff, right? They're not power players. They're not that type of people. So they leave, and he's just standing and waiting. Now, of course, this is your haven, so I'm assuming you don't leave.
Right.
Just look around for a minute, be like, oh well, crap. All right.
Yeah, no, I look at him straight in the eyes and go, "This is my home. Why are you here?"
Okay. Now, he leans up against a wall, which he tends to do. He likes leaning against walls and looking and posing and looking ominous. But you see Tati and Lara just take a seat toward the entrance, near to the entrance, and Delilah walks in to the middle of the room where you guys are. And she starts to speak. And so I'm just going to go into a dialogue here real quick. So you guys just, hold on a second. Now, she says, Gehenna is upon us. Now, none of you here have anything to offer. You do not know me well. I've only been here a short time, but I work for the prince. I was sent here to keep an eye on the vampires of Boston. And of course, there is nothing to really worry about, as you well know. But nevertheless, the prince has asked me to let you know the situation, so I shall. Long ago, in the beginning, I'm assuming you all know the stories of how Cain created the vampire. You know that we were supposedly the curse of Cain was given to him by God, was supposed to be vampirism, and this is the story of our kind. Some believe it strongly, others do not. Well, I am here to tell you that it is true. And in those early times, he created many vampires. Two generations actually came out of that creation. Now, Cain saw the trouble that was going on and decided that they should reduce their numbers or at least not increase them anymore. And he put out edict. The problem is that Cain left for some reason. We do not know why. We don't have all the information. But in his absence, the second generation created many, and the third generation created theirs of their own. But during his absence, something incredible happened. The fourth generation tried to rise up and take out their fathers and their grandfathers. In this incredible war, which happened in before the Great Deluge in antediluvian times, they were incredibly successful. As far as we know, the second generation was completely wiped out, but not all of the third generation. Although they lost many, in the end they were able to win. And what they did in their victory was to destroy every living vampire that existed. Then the antediluvians made a decision. They needed vampires because they were already so old that they needed some, in addition to humans, they needed some vampire blood to subside themselves. So therefore, they created new vampires and they ruled over them. Then, what happened in a with every age that has come since, they will do their various machinations, sleeping or resting or whatever they're doing. But every new age that comes, every 2,126 years, they will rise up and murder every vampire on the planet, put the humans into a type of cull to reduce their numbers and gain and put the world back to where they feel it should be. Then they will choose 13, one for each of them, humans, and make them the new leader of the clans. This has happened many times. It is a cycle. Gehenna is not something new. It is something that always happens. It is the cycle of renewal. Our prince here, our lord here, sorry, not prince, and she points over the prince that is leaning up against the wall. He was the last creation for Clan Ventru. Therefore, he is Ventru. as it exists today. All the Ventru that are on this planet come from him. But in his seeing of that time, he has spent his entire life, this past 2,000 some odd years, trying to find a way to stop it from happening again, to end the cycle. And this is what has brought us to today, because the cycle is about to hit again. And if it has gone as it has every other time before, the antediluvians will rise. They will murder every vampire on the planet, kill about 50% of the humans just for good measure, and then they will create 13 new clan leaders and move on. This is what we are trying to stop. Now, none of you here have anything to offer to try to help us with that. The Magi are working at trying to secure the loci and in the deep in the Umbra itself. Matter of fact, we know that the antediluvians spend most of their time in the deep Umbra themselves. They don't live in our existence, but they need vampire blood from time to time. So they will come up and they will take the vampires and they will store the blood. Here's the interesting thing. This is not something that happens overnight, like many of the stories of Gehenna say. It actually takes a good century or so. It is a slow thing, not a quick thing. But in that time of them taking the vampires and storing their blood for the next 2,000 years, for them to live in the deep umbra where they exist, not here, this is what we want to stop. We are desperate to stop it. The Magi, of course, will suffer just as much as anybody else, so they are helping us, trying to lock the Loki down as best as they can to keep them from doing it, because they use those to come back and forth through our reality. They are so deep in the Umbra that they cannot simply step out of it. They must exit through a Loci. Now we are securing as many as we can, and particularly the big ones like here in Boston. But it is a difficult endeavor, of course. But once again, this is not something that you can help us with. The prince has something that he would like you to do, if you choose to accept it. The prince starts speaking now. He steps forward. She sits down. He says, "I've been paying attention what you guys are doing." And he looks over at Dinale. He says, "I know the route, the road you're trying to take, and the things you're trying to solve. You're going the wrong direction, but I can help you with it. I offer you a boon, and this is what I would like you to do." He drops a book on the tables wherever you guys, the majority of you, are sitting, and he says, "This was found in Constantinople, in the deep areas when we were working with the Magi there to lock down the loci. This right here is talking about what happened to Cain and where Cain is." Now, I brought this up to the Camarilla as well as other groups I'm working with. I told them that we need to have more than one option. We can't just lock down the loci. We can't just prepare a powerful vampire to try to fight them. It's not enough. It's not enough. We need to do more. I lived through this. I saw my master. I was a general for my master, a ghoul, actually, and I became the new Ventru. I have witnessed this, and it is the most terrifying thing to see the antediluvian fall upon the world and just cull it clean. I will not allow this to happen again. But the Camarilla do not agree with all my options. One of my options is to find Cain and release him. If you are willing,
You
I
want to do
suggest
what?
you try.
You want to release Kane.
Yes, I do.
And my character has been headed towards the door. He's about, I would say at this point, about 30 feet from the door. You want to release Kane. Who do
Yes, I
you
do.
think you are? You can't control that chaos.
My enemy, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, is it not?
It's crazy.
He says, "This
You
is what
do
I'm
not.
offering to you." The Camarilla agree with your sentiment. They think it is a waste of time. They think they can't even be done, let alone want to bother with it. They're more interested in the more applicable and practical things they can do to try to stop Gehenna. I do not think it will be enough. Maybe it will, but I think there should be plan B. And I'm offering you the opportunity, because no one else will take it, and I am far too busy to do it. I'm offering you the opportunity to try and find and release Cain. We know where he is. We know
Where?
exactly where he is.
Where?
He opens up the book, he holds it up, and he starts flipping through pages showing you maps. And what it seems as he goes, I'm not going to go through the whole speech, but what he basically says to you is, when Cain returned and seen what the antediluvians did, he tried to put them down, but they overwhelmed him. And what they did, but they couldn't kill him. They tried for years, every way they could think to possibly to murder Cain, and they couldn't. They could not destroy his body. They could not do anything. They could hold him, but they could not destroy him. So what they did was they buried him deep, and he is deep below the area in the world that is currently called Kazakhstan, in a tomb. And we know exactly where it is. The problem is there are keys to it. There are four, and those four keys have been put into their own temples, hidden around the world, and highly protected. If you can go into these temples, gain the keys, and go and wake up Cain, he might well be the edge we need to stop the cycle of Gehenna.
Yeah, or he might kill me.
He
So
might.
let me get this straight. You want us to go find a bunch of keys in a bunch of temples that other people are probably looking for to stop us from finding,
Mhm.
to wake up a vampire god so that he'll kill a bunch of vampire demigods, and then what?
Cain will be free.
Cain will be free to do whatever he wants.
Yes.
Yeah, how about I deauthorize him and call it a day?
Uh, I
Um,
would. He said, if you read this book, you'll see they tried that already.
um,
If we don't try,
is,
then we'll.
is it Cain crazy?
I'm sorry. Say that again. I couldn't hear that clearly.
Isn't Cain crazy?
Not according to this book.
But according to a whole bunch of other books, he is.
I am
If he really
simply.
did,
I understand your disagreement. You don't have to do this. I'm simply saying because no one else agrees with me. The Camarilla doesn't want to do it either. I simply don't have any resources to put toward it because everything is toward the main plan. You are here. You all seem to be very interested in what's going on, and of course, I would assume you want to survive. And of course, in the end, I will offer a boon if we all survive this. And of course, a boon from a fourth generation is not something to be laughed at. But someone has to do it. I think we need Plan B. I really think we do, and no one else is willing to do it. I'm simply offering you the opportunity to try.
Oh, that's neat.
if we
I,
don't
I,
try
I,
it, we. If we don't try it, we'll all end up dead anyway. So what's the difference?
I step away from the door and towards him. What do we get out of this?
Like I said, I will give you a boon.
And that
What
is
a boon is whatever you want. It is
Basically,
a
he owes
marker.
us.
He owes
I
you.
mean, it means,
Yeah.
yeah, he owes us.
Yeah. What do you
We're
want?
talking a major. We're talking a major boon here.
Yes. Yeah. A major boon
I
from a
look
fourth generation Camarilla leader. Yeah.
Life boom.
Yes.
I look back at
That's what I said. That's what Al said. Not a major boom, a life boom.
Yeah.
I look back at Sienna and I say, "Are you in?"
Sure. What do we have to lose?
I'm in. I got her back.
Where's all these? Where are these temples at?
There's one in South America. There's one in the depths of Africa. There's ones in the depth of Asia, and there's one over in Wyoming.
Holy shit!
I say we hit up Wyoming first. From there, I have 2 in resources, so I got a little bit of money. We might be able to book a plane.
Oh, you don't need to worry about resources at all.
I was about to say that this guy's, but I was looking. I was like, I'm hoping he's footing the bill.
Well, he's actually Delilah is going whether you go or not. She has been tasked with this. She is a liaison to him. She will handle resources and stuff as you need it, and of course she is. She's capable. He just doesn't have any other resources to put at it. And since you guys have no hand in what's going on, and no one's going to want you around anyway because you're a bunch of caitiff, then why not give you the opportunity to do something about it? Because it's just as equally your life as it is anybody else's. And if he was in another city, because he's here, he has the Boston loci is his responsibility. If he was in another city, he'd probably find another group of undesirables or unattached people to be involved, right? But he's here, so and you're the ones here. So that's why he's talking to you. It's not because you're super special. It's just because you're available.
We're cannon fodder.
in a way. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it isn't guaranteed you can succeed anyway, but he thinks it's at least something that should be tried. And he did say very specifically the Camarilla do not agree, and they have not sanctioned this at all.
So when you say that the CAM hasn't sanctioned this, are they going to actively work against us to stop us?
Oh, doubtful. They're way too busy, and you're not Camarilla anyway.
Well, I'm just saying.
They don't know about us anyway.
That's part of
Yeah.
the point. Yeah.
All right. Out.
Well, no,
Like I
and
said-
I have Brewhaw connections, guys. So if there's some Brewhaw up in Minnesota, we can connect with them.
Wyoming, you mean?
Okay, Wyoming. Sorry, not Minnesota. My bad.
Yeah,
You know,
why not?
my character does have connections, so we can go that route.
Okay.
We
Well,
should probably head.
now hold
We
on a
should
second
probably
here.
head.
He could take, because I know Dinale needs to go. He says that nevertheless, the choice is yours. He leaves the book. He also puts down 3 medallions, talisman on the table. He says these will help protect you and allow you to see what is unseen. He looks over at you, Sienna, and he says, "You must be aware now that you don't need this." And he says, "Make your decisions. Do as you will. I hope you make the correct decision. But we are busy." And Tati, as well as Laura, start to leave the place. Delilah is looking at you tentatively, waiting for your responses. Okay, uh, go ahead.
I'm going to walk up and pick one of the medallions up, and I'm going to look back inside and be like, "Something you want to tell us?"
I walk up right beside him and I slip a medallion on. I'm gonna take this job opportunity.
Okay.
So
All right. Cool. All right. So let me come back over here to the main side. This is where we're going to leave it for tonight, because I know Denali really needs to get out of here, and so we don't want to hold him up any longer than he has to. We will cut it off here tonight, guys. Everybody watching, awesome. We have more over 12 people that have sat in with us here. We do apologize, but we're not paying attention to the chat, but we are kind of in the middle of it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the story as it goes along, and as we see. And of course, we'll check in next week to see exactly how much of this is guys want to be involved in. Of course, they are free agents. They can make a decision to do it whatever they want. There are other options of things they can do. They don't have to take this one. But if they do, it could be interesting. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will definitely check you out next time. Now, keep in mind that tomorrow is a normal day. We're having comics news today, and then of course on Thursday we will be having our drone recorder fan edition, which we will be looking at. I forget which one that is, Denali. But
It's
anyway,
it's just a normal fan edition. But next fan edition is going to be Legend of the Lone Wolf.
that's right. That's right.
Ooh.
Next week. Oh, I'm sorry. We're doing actually. Tomorrow's not comics news. We're doing Bunny Vision
It's
movie
Bunny,
night. What are we
right.
watching tomorrow?
We haven't decided, so it'll
Oh,
be a
surprises.
surprise.
Sweet. Yeah. Come and watch that with us. It's a lot of fun. Of course, we have our normal stuff this week. And we have Doug Garrett is going to be on FanSpeak this week, which would be a lot of really cool to talk to him. But thank you all very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And really hope you guys are enjoying the story here. So anybody have any closing comments they want to make before we get out of here?
Nope.
Nope. Just check out everybody's channels if you get a chance to, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give a shout out to your channels real quick. And you can bail out, Denali. I'll take care of
All
editing
right.
the show.
All right. Peace out.
Yeah, later.
Later, man.
Well, no, absolutely. Like, I know Mox, you just do the Twitter thing, but the rest of us, yeah, check out our channels.
Yeah, go ahead and give it to him. Tell him what your channels are.
Yeah, I'm over on Mad Dodge Productions. We do politics, some pop culture, stuff like that. It's a good time.
All right. How about you, Bob?
I'm over at Comic Book Bob. You can check it out. We do live streams every week on actually right before this game is airing. We just talk about all the news that's going on. We do movie reviews, comic book reviews. Occasionally, I'll do a drawing stream. But it's just basically all the kind of nerd stuff that we talk about. So
Yeah. And thank you very much, Eric. Eric is reminding me that I knew there was something special this Thursday. There is. We're doing Monster MD, which is going to be
oh,
really
that's
cool.
right.
Yeah, that's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. How about you,
Oh, did you
Mox?
guys
Yeah, go
did you
ahead,
guys
Bob.
already do one for? I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Bob. Finish your statement.
Are you guys gonna do one for Shinobi Sasquatch?
Not that I know of. Of course, Monster MD is connected to Shinobi, but
Right.
not that I know of. And of course, that's Pixel's decision anyway. Well, we know that we host the fan edition, and of course, I MC it as well. But that is Pixel's baby. So in the end, I mean, I guess if I pushed, I could get what I wanted. But I pretty much let him do what he wants to do because, yeah, he's having fun with it. So we'll
Cool.
see what he says about that. But that will be fun doing Monster MD. Go ahead, Mox. Tell them where they can find you, man.
I'm found on Twitter under MoxRox1103. I am a mod for over a dozen different people. I cover everything from comic books to art auctions to Star Wars pop culture, and definitely support Doug Garrett and the Legends of the Lone Wolf. I have
Yeah.
been promoting him for the last week or so.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like I said, we
Yeah.
have Doug coming on Fanspeak this Saturday, so that's going to be a lot of fun talking to him. He's a real cool guy. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. We will check you out tomorrow. Definitely come watch a movie with us. That's a lot of fun. But we have all our shows during the week, and we appreciate all the support you guys give us. We love you guys. So thank you very much. And yeah. Anyone want to give us? We usually have Dinale give some words of wisdom. Anybody want to give some words of wisdom today?
Don't eat yellow.
Yeah. Taxation is theft.
Taxation is theft, and don't eat the yellow snow. Good points. Good points, guys. Namaste. All right. Later, everybody.